The corridor of the alien transport ship was silent except for the soft hum of the engines. Dim blue lights lined the ceiling, casting long shadows on the metallic walls. The human crouched near a panel, its hands busy with wires and tools, fixing a faulty power conduit. He worked quickly, his brow furrowed, trying to finish before the next systems check. Across from him, sitting on a low bench, was the alien woman. She wore dark armor, scratched and dented from battles. Her posture was relaxed, but her sharp golden eyes never left him. He could feel her gaze on him like a weight, making his hands slower than usual. At first, he thought she was simply watching him work, but then he noticed her smirk, subtle, like she knew something he didn't. Her legs were crossed, her armor shaped strangely around her hips. It wasn't like the smooth plating he had seen on other alien soldiers. There was a bulge there, almost mechanical in shape. His eyes darted to it for only a moment, just a quick glance, but that was enough. Her smirk widened and her voice, low and teasing, broke the silence. "Human," she said, slowly, her tone carrying both curiosity and challenge. "Is the shape between my legs what's making you so nervous?" The human froze, his hand tightening on his tool. Heat crept into his face, but he forced himself to look back at her eyes. "I'm not," he began, searching for the right words. I was just wondering about the design. That's all." She tilted her head slightly, as if she didn't believe him. Her gaze was like a test, one he wasn't sure he was passing. Inside, his thoughts were racing. He wasn't staring out of attraction, though he couldn't deny she was striking in her own alien way. No, what caught his attention was that strange piece of armor. It didn't match the rest of her gear, and it gave off a faint hum, almost like it was alive before he could think of what to say next. The entire ship shuddered. A loud, piercing alarm filled the air, and the corridor lights switched to deep red. Somewhere above them, metal groaned and klaxons wailed. The human dropped his tool and stood up. The alien woman rose too, her smirk gone, replaced by sharp focus. "What's going on?" he asked, glancing around. She didn't answer right away. Instead, she stepped close to him, so close he could smell the faint metallic scent of her armor. Her voice dropped to a whisper. "If you're smart, you'll follow me, and you'll do exactly what I say." The ship shook again, and faint thuds echoed from far down the corridor. Boots, many boots, enemy boarding party. His mind guessed instantly. He opened his mouth to ask more, but she cut him off. "And one more thing," she said, her golden eyes locking onto his. "Don't touch the shape between my legs. Unless you want both of us dead." The words made his stomach twist. It wasn't just a tease. There was weight behind them. Real danger before he could respond. She grabbed his wrist and pulled him toward a maintenance hatch in the wall. Her movements were fast, urgent. He barely had time to grab his toolkit before she shoved him inside. The hatch closed behind them, sealing the corridor away. They were in a narrow, dimly lit tunnel, pipes running along the ceiling. The air smelled faintly of oil and heat. She led the way, her movements awkward but determined, as if whatever was under her armor was heavy or fragile. He followed, ducking under low beams, the alarm still echoing faintly behind them. After a few minutes of crawling, they stopped in a small junction space. The alien woman crouched, listening. The thuds of boots grew louder, then faded in another direction. Only then did she turn to him. "You were right to notice," she said quietly, her earlier teasing tone gone. "This shape, it's not part of me, human, and if they get their hands on it, it will not just kill us, it will burn worlds." He stared at her, his mouth dry. "What is it?" he asked. She hesitated, then shook her head. "Not here, not now," she said. "The less you know, the safer you are." For the moment, another distant explosion rattled the tunnel. She stood quickly, motioning for him to follow again. "We have to get to the engineering core," she said. If we can lock down the power systems, we can slow them down. He nodded, gripping his toolkit tighter. He didn't know what was going on. But one thing was certain, whatever that shape was. It had just turned him into part of something far bigger and far more dangerous than he ever expected. Asterisk, the maintenance tunnel was tight and hot. Pipes hissed overhead, dripping warm condensation onto the metal floor. The human crawled behind the alien woman, his knees scraping against the grated path. Every so often, she would pause, listening. For sounds beyond the thin walls, her golden eyes darted left and right, her ears twitching to faint noises he couldn't even hear. They stopped at a junction where the tunnel split in 3 directions. She crouched low, pointing to the left path. "This way leads to engineering," she whispered, but before they moved, his eyes drifted once again to the strange bulge in her armor. It was close to her lower torso, perfectly fitted between her legs. The faint hum he noticed earlier was louder here, as if the confined space made it resonate. "What is that thing?" he asked, his voice low. She didn't turn her head, but her tone became sharp. "Not here, human. The walls have ears." He frowned. "Are you saying it's alive?" For a moment, she said nothing, then finally answered, "In a way, yes. Alive enough to destroy everything you know." Before he could ask more, the ship jolted violently. The tunnel lights flickered, plunging them into near darkness for a moment. When they came back, a faint, pulsating blue glow was coming from her armor, the source of the hum. He stared, mesmerized and uneasy. "That's not standard issue," he said. "No," she replied flatly. "It's older than my people." "Older than your species, too." They began moving again, heading left into a narrower crawl space. The sound of metal boots above them was getting closer. Enemy boarders, but these weren't random pirates. The human could hear the coordination. "In their steps, they're searching for you," he realized aloud. "They're searching for this," she corrected, tapping her armor plate lightly. "And if they find it, they will burn every colony in their way until nothing remains." They reached a hatch, and she motioned for him to open it. He unscrewed the panel with quick, practiced movements. When it swung open, they stepped into a shadowy maintenance bay filled with machinery and coolant pipes. The air was cooler here, but thick with the smell of fuel. She moved to a large metal crate and pulled out a dusty fabric cloak, throwing it over herself. She hid most of her armor and the strange bulge. "They won't see it under this," she said, "but if they scan me, it's over." He stepped closer, lowering his voice. "You could tell me what it is. Maybe I can help." Her golden eyes studied him for a long, silent moment. Finally, she spoke. "It's called the Heart of Vera, a core from a war machine built before recorded history." He felt a chill crawl up his spine. "What does it do?" "Acts," she said simply. "To sound, to heat, to motion. But most of all, to intention." His eyebrows furrowed. "Intention?" She nodded. "It can sense if you mean harm, and it will decide if you live or die. That is why no one touches it." The floor suddenly trembled under heavy steps. Voices barked commands in a language he didn't understand. The alien woman grabbed his arm and pulled him behind a coolant tank. From the shadows, they watched as 3 armored soldiers entered the bay, scanning with handheld devices. The human held his breath, every muscle tense. The soldiers passed by, but one stopped. Looking suspiciously toward their hiding spot, he stepped closer. The human's heart pounded so hard he was sure it could be heard. But just as the soldier reached for his scanner, a loud metallic crash echoed from the far corridor. All 3 soldiers turned and ran toward the sound, weapons ready. The alien exhaled slowly. "That wasn't luck," she said. "That was the heart." He stared at her. "You're saying it made that noise?" "Yes," she replied. "It does what it must to survive. And now it wants you alive too." The human's head spun with questions. Why him? Why not abandon him when she had the chance? Before he could speak, she stepped closer, her voice dropping to almost a whisper. But you must understand something, human. If the heart decides you're a threat, I won't be able to stop it. A distant explosion shook the bay, followed by the wail of the ship's emergency sirens. She grabbed his toolkit from his hand, slinging it over her shoulder. You'll need both hands where we're going, she said. Where is that? To a place no human has ever seen and lived to speak of, she replied. Her golden eyes narrowed. But if you want to make it there alive, you'll stop asking about the shape between my legs without another word. She led him to another hatch, disappearing into the dark crawlspace beyond. He hesitated only a second before following. The hum of the heart of Vera was louder now, almost like it could sense the danger ahead, and deep inside, the human couldn't help but wonder. Was he following her because he had no choice, or because something about that forbidden device had already chosen him? The maintenance tunnels twisted and turned like a maze. Metal walls pressed close on both sides, and the only light came from thin strips along the ceiling, flickering now and then. The human followed the alien woman closely, his breathing steady. But alert, the air was warmer here, filled with the smell of hot wires and machine oil. Behind them, faint echoes of footsteps bounced through the tunnels. Sometimes they were near, sometimes far, but never gone. Whoever was after them knew the ship's layout as well as they did. Keep moving. She whispered without looking back. Her voice was calm, but he could feel the tension in it. They reached a narrow section where the floor sloped downward. She moved slower here, her steps careful. The human noticed her body shift slightly with each step, like she was protecting the weight of the heart of Vera between her legs. The hum was louder now, a faint vibration that he could almost feel. Through the floor, is it reacting to them? He asked quietly. Yes, she replied. It senses pursuit and danger. Suddenly, a sharp metallic clang echoed ahead. Both froze, listening. The sound repeated, heavy, deliberate, like claws dragging on metal. That's not your people, the human whispered. Her golden eyes narrowed. No. That's something worse. She led him into a side passage, smaller than the main tunnel. Forcing them to duck as they moved, the noise behind them grew. Louder, joined by low, guttural clicks. He glanced back and saw a faint reflection of light. Something was coming. What is it? He asked, his voice tense. Scavenger drones, she said. They're programmed to rip apart anything they don't recognize, and they recognize nothing but their masters. They moved faster now, crawling at points where the tunnel narrowed. To half height, the hum of the heart grew into a low, thrumming pulse. The alien woman glanced over her shoulder, her expression unreadable. If it starts glowing, you'll close your eyes, she ordered. Why? Because if you look into its light, human, you might not come back. They reached a maintenance hatch, and she motioned for him to open it. He knelt, unscrewing the bolts quickly, but his hands trembled from the tension through the thin metal. He could hear the clicking of the scavenger drones faster now, like claws running over steel. The hatch came loose, and they slipped inside a vertical shaft lined with ladders. She pulled the hatch shut behind them, but not before the sound of scraping claws came almost to the opening. The shaft was dim, filled with the smell of rust and coolant. They climbed upward, the human leading while she followed. Halfway up, the metal shook violently. He looked down and saw shadows moving below. The drones were in the shaft, climbing after them, faster. She shouted, her voice sharp now. He climbed as quickly as he could, his muscles burning. One drone leaped upward, its hooked limbs slashing at the ladder just below his foot. The alien woman twisted her body, pressing the heart of Vera against the ladder frame. A sudden wave of blue light burst out, flooding the shaft. The drones below screeched in a metallic distortion, their claws seizing up. The human shut his eyes instinctively. the alien's warning echoing in his head when the light faded. The sound of metal bodies hitting the floor below told him the drones had been disabled. He opened his eyes to see her looking up at him, her breathing heavier now. "That was risky," she said. "The heart doesn't like being used twice in a short time." They reached the top of the shaft and emerged into a larger tunnel. This one was lined with thick pipes and heavy cables. The air was cooler here, but a deep, distant rumble suggested the ship was taking damage. "We're getting close to the core," she said. "Good," he replied. "Maybe I can help lock them out." But as they moved forward, he noticed something strange. The hum from the heart was no longer even. It was pulsing in a slow, steady rhythm. "Is it alive?" he asked again. Unable to hold the question back, she gave him a sideways glance. "It's more than a live human." It's aware. The tunnel ended in a sealed blast door. The human knelt at the control panel, pulling out his tools. "I can bypass this," he said, working quickly. She stood guard, her golden eyes scanning the shadows. But before he could finish, a loud metallic thud echoed from behind them. The drones weren't all gone. He worked faster, sweat running down his neck. The alien woman stepped back toward him. "If they reach us here, the heart will act on its own, and I can't promise it will spare you." He didn't answer, focusing on the last wire connection. With a hiss, the blast door slid open, revealing a narrow bridge over a massive drop. They ran across, their footsteps clanging on the grated floor. The hum of the heart became almost a growl halfway across. The human looked back. Metal shapes were crawling into the doorway behind them, their eyes glowing red. They reached the far side just as the bridge controls sparked and the platform retracted, cutting off the drones. For a moment, there was only silence. Then the alien woman turned to him, her eyes sharp. "You're still alive because it wants you alive," she said quietly. "But don't forget, human, the heart changes its mind." The narrow bridge ended at a heavy maintenance hatch. The human pushed it open and they stepped into a dim, circular chamber filled with humming machinery. Pipes ran along the walls and the floor vibrated gently under their boots. This close to the ship's engineering core, every surface seemed alive with power. The alien woman moved to the far side of the room, her cloak shifting as she walked. The faint bulge of the heart of Vera was still visible beneath the armor. Plates, its hum had changed, no longer steady. It now pulsed in short, sharp bursts. The sound made the hair on the human's arms stand up. He set his toolkit down on a workbench and stepped closer. "It's louder," he said, her golden eyes narrowed. "It's reacting to the ship's instability. And to the presence of enemies nearby." He frowned. "How close?" Her reply was grim. "Close enough that we might not have time to leave." Before he could speak, the ship jolted violently. A deep boom shook the chamber and several pipes. Overhead released clouds of steam. The alien woman staggered, her hand instinctively going to the armor between her legs. The hum from the heart became a deep, vibrating growl. Blue light began to seep through the seams of her armor. "Is that normal?" the human asked, already knowing the answer. "No," she hissed. "It's overheating." He stepped closer, seeing tiny arcs of blue energy sparking around the armor plate. "Then take it off," he said urgently. Her glare was sharp. "If I remove it now, it could trigger a chain reaction, one big enough to tear this ship apart." The vibrations grew stronger, and the glow intensified. The alien woman's breathing was uneven now. "I can't stabilize it alone," she admitted. "I need you to." She stopped herself, biting her lip. "What?" he pressed. She looked straight at him, her expression tense. "I need you to put your hands on it." He blinked, taken aback. "Are you insane? You just told me it could kill me." Her voice was firm. "It will kill both of us if you don't. You're an engineer. You can bleed off the excess charge, but you'll have to do it directly, without another word. She unclipped part of her cloak and lowered it slightly. The armor plate between her legs was fully visible now, shaped to hold the heart snugly. Blue energy pulsed against the dark metal. The human swallowed hard, then stepped forward. His hands hovered just above it, the heat radiating against his palms. "Now," she said, her tone urgent. The moment his hands made contact, a shock surged through him. It wasn't just pain, it was like every nerve in his body lit up. He gasped but didn't pull away. He could feel the rhythm of the heart. Each pulse, heavy and deliberate. "Steady," she said, her voice close to his ear. "You have to match its pulse, guide it down." His training as an engineer kicked in. He pictured the heart like a power core. Its energy flow unstable. Slowly, he adjusted his grip, pressing at specific points on the armor to redirect the heat. The sparks faded slightly, but the hum still vibrated through his bones. Outside the chamber, the sound of boots echoed. The enemy was coming. "Hurry," she whispered. "I'm trying." He replied through clenched teeth. The glow dimmed for a moment, then flared bright again. "It's fighting me," he said. "It's testing you," she corrected. Her golden eyes locked onto his. "If it accepts you, you'll live. If not—" She didn't finish the sentence. A sudden jolt of energy shot up his arms. His vision blurred, and for a brief second, images flashed in his mind, vast alien landscapes. War machines towering over burning cities. He saw the heart being forged. In some long-forgotten place, surrounded by creatures unlike anything he'd known. Then the vision snapped away, and he was back in the chamber. The hum had slowed. The light fading to a faint glow, he stepped back, breathing heavily, his hands trembling. The alien woman straightened, her expression unreadable. "You did it," she said quietly. He wiped sweat from his forehead. "Yeah, but what just happened?" "I saw things. Like memories?" Her eyes narrowed slightly. "Not memories, human." Warnings, before they could speak further. The door behind them shook violently. Something was trying to break in. The alien woman drew a short blade from her side. "They've found us," she said. The human grabbed a wrench from his toolkit. "Then let's make sure they regret it." The hatch burst open, and armored soldiers poured in. The heart gave one last deep pulse, as if sensing the danger. The human glanced at the alien woman. "If it starts glowing again, I'm not sure I can stop it this time." She smirked faintly. "Despite the situation, then we make sure it doesn't need to." They moved together, back to back, as the enemy closed in. The hum of the heart was steady now, but the human couldn't shake the feeling. It was only waiting, watching for the right moment to act. The engineering chamber was silent. Again. The last of the enemy soldiers lay unconscious or bound with thick cable ties the human had pulled from a maintenance kit. Steam hissed softly from a ruptured pipe above, mixing with the faint hum of the heart of Vera. The fight had been short but tense, and both the human and the alien woman were breathing hard. The human leaned against the wall, still feeling the echo of the strange visions from earlier. His hands tingled faintly, as if the heart had left some of its energy inside him. Across the room, the alien woman knelt, adjusting the armor plate that kept the heart secure between. Her legs, its glow was dim now, but the pulsing hum was steady, almost calm, almost patient. He broke the silence first. "So, what exactly is this thing? And don't tell me it's alive enough to kill me. I already know that part." She looked up, her golden eyes thoughtful. "It's more than a weapon," she said slowly. "It's a key. A key to what?" he asked, instead of answering. She tapped the armor lightly. The heart responded with a low vibration. Then a sudden flash of blue light. The light spread upward in twisting streams, forming symbols in the air. The symbols shimmered, rearranging themselves until they became A vast, three-dimensional star map. The human's breath caught. Planets, moons, asteroid belts, all connected by glowing lines. But one point in the map burned brighter than the rest, pulsing in rhythm with a heart's hum that she said, pointing to the glowing point. Is where it came from. He stepped closer, studying the projection. The coordinates floated in alien script, shifting as if they were alive. What's there? I asked. A world my people are forbidden to approach, she said. They call it the cradle of Vera, the place where the first war machines were born, and the place where the heart can awaken all of them. He stared at her, the weight of her words sinking in. You mean? There are more of these things. Hundreds, she replied, maybe thousands, all asleep, all waiting for this. She tapped the armor again, the heart's glow intensifying briefly. The human shook his head. So your enemies, the ones chasing us, they want it so they can wake the machines. Yes, she said, and once they do, nothing will stand in their way. Not your people, not mine. No one. The projection shifted again, showing not just the glowing world, but a path through dangerous space, asteroid fields, dead zones. Regions marked with red warning symbols. He recognized some of them from human navigation charts. Places ships avoided because they never came back, and you were. What? Going to sell this to smugglers? He asked. Her jaw tightened. That was the plan. Until you touched it. He frowned. What does that mean? She hesitated, then said, the heart. It bonds. It chooses. Once you connected with it, you became part of its chain of command. Now, it will respond to you as much as it does to me. He felt a chill crawl up his spine. I didn't ask for that. No one ever does, she said quietly. But if you walk away now, the ones hunting us will still find you, and they'll tear you apart to get what's inside your memory. Before he could answer, a faint metallic sound came from the corridor outside. Not boots this time. A low, steady grinding. She stood quickly, her cloak shifting back over the armor. They're bringing something bigger, she said. Bigger. Boarding mechs. They won't care if this ship rips in half while they get inside. The heart pulsed again, the star map flickering but not vanishing. It was almost like it wanted them to keep looking, to remember the route. The human stepped forward and reached out. When his finger touched the holographic map, the glowing path shifted, marking an alternative route, one that avoided most of the red danger zones. He pulled back in surprise. It reacted to me, he said. Of course it did, she replied. It's yours now, too. The sound outside grew louder, metal grinding on metal. She looked at the map one last time before tapping the heart again, making the projection fade. We need to get to the shuttle bay, she said. Why? We can't outrun a mech in open space. She gave him a sharp smile. Not unless we take a route no one else dares to. Realization hit him. You're talking about following the map. Yes, she said simply, straight to the cradle. Of Vera, he hesitated. If this place is as dangerous as you say it is, she interrupted. But it's also the only place we can make sure the heart never falls into the wrong hands. The grinding noise was right outside the chamber now. He could see shadows moving behind the thin seams of the door. Without another word, he grabbed his toolkit and slung it over his shoulder. Fine, he said. But if we're going there, you'd better tell me everything before we arrive. She smirked. Only if we survive long enough to land. The door shook under a heavy impact. The heart pulsed once more. A deep, resonant sound that seemed almost eager. The human glanced at it, wondering if it understood the danger and if it cared. The stolen shuttle drifted toward the abandoned mining station. From a distance, the station looked dead, its outer lights flickering, its docking arms hanging limp like broken bones. The human sat in the co-pilot seat, watching the readouts. No heat signatures, no active shields, he said. The alien woman nodded slowly, her golden eyes fixed on the looming structure. Good. That means either it's empty, or they're very good at hiding. The heart of Vera hummed quietly beneath her armor. It hadn't projected the map again since they left the ship. Still, the human could almost feel it. Like a faint vibration through the shuttle floor, it was as if the heart was aware of where they were going. The shuttle clamped onto one of the docking arms with a heavy metallic click. The human grabbed his toolkit and slung it over his shoulder. "Station's power grid is half dead," he said. "After a quick scan, I can bring the lights up. Maybe get life support running in some sections." "Do it," she replied, "but stay close." Stations like this attract more than just scavengers. They stepped into the airlock, the stale smell of rust and dust hitting them immediately. The corridor beyond was dark, except for faint emergency strips along the floor. Every step echoed, the sound carrying far in the emptiness. They moved through a wide hall lined with old mining suits, their cracked helmets staring like dead eyes. The human knelt beside a control panel, opening it with quick movements. Sparks jumped as he rerouted the station's power. Within moments, dim overhead lights flickered on, revealing more of the dusty corridors. The alien woman stood watch, her cloak hiding the heart from view. When the lights came on, she gave a small nod. "Better. Let's find somewhere we can rest and plan." They found an old mess hall, its tables covered in layers of dust. A few empty crates were stacked in the corner. The human dropped his toolkit on one and sat. "So," he said, "now's the time. You tell me the rest of the story." She hesitated, glancing toward the door as if listening. Then she sat across from him, lowering her voice. "The heart doesn't just wake the war machines. It commands them. Whoever holds it can control armies the size of planets." He stared at her. "And you were going to sell that to smugglers?" "I told you," she said firmly. "I had no loyalty to anyone until you touched it." Her golden eyes locked onto his. "It has chosen you, human. You may not want it, but now you are part of it." Before he could answer, a faint metallic creak echoed from somewhere in the station. He froze, glancing at the ceiling that wasn't the ship settling. He said, "No," she replied, already rising to her feet. "We're not alone." The sound came again, closer this time. The human grabbed his toolkit, sliding a heavy wrench into his belt. They moved cautiously back into the corridor as they turned a corner. The dim lights caught something on the floor, footprints in the dust, fresh ones, and not just one. Set several. The alien woman's jaw tightened. "They were here before we arrived," she whispered. The human felt a cold weight settle in his chest. "You think they know we're here?" "They knew before we docked," she said, her voice low. This was a trap. Suddenly, floodlights blazed on from the upper walkway. Figures emerged from the shadows, armored, armed, and very familiar. The same enemy soldiers who had boarded the alien transport ship. A voice rang out, metallic, through a helmet speaker. "Hand over the device, and you may live." The human glanced at the alien woman. "They mean the heart," he said quietly. "Of course they do," she replied, her hand drifting toward her blade. But before she could draw it, more soldiers appeared behind them, cutting off the retreat. One of the soldiers on the upper level stepped forward. The helmet tilted slightly, and the voice was colder this time. "We don't want her. Just the human. The heart already likes him. That makes him useful." The alien woman stiffened. "They know it's bonded to you," she said in a whisper only he could hear. Her golden eyes narrowed. "That means they'll kill me the moment they have it." The human's mind raced. He looked at the soldiers, then at her. What happens if the heart falls into their hands? She didn't answer with words. Her silence said enough. The lead soldier raised a hand. "Last chance. Step forward, human." The alien woman moved subtly, placing herself between him and the soldiers. "No," she said loudly, her voice Echoing in the metal corridor, "You'll have to kill us both." The heart pulsed suddenly, sending a faint ripple of blue light through the seams of her armor. The soldiers shifted uneasily at the sight. The lead one barked an order. "Take them." Before they could react, the alien woman grabbed the human's arm and shoved him into a side maintenance hatch. "Go," she hissed. He stumbled inside, the narrow passage forcing them to crouch as they moved quickly away. Behind them, the sound of boots thundered through the corridor. They reached a sealed hatch deep inside the station. The alien woman pressed her palm to a panel, and the door slid open to reveal a small, hidden docking bay. Inside was an old but functional single-pilot shuttle. She looked at him, her expression fierce. "This is our only chance. We take this ship and follow the heart's map. Now." He glanced back at the corridor they'd come from. "They'll follow us," he said. "Yes," she replied. "But they won't survive the path the heart will show us." As they climbed into the shuttle, the heart pulsed again, stronger this time. The hum filled the small bay, almost like it was anticipating what came next. And deep inside, the human had the unsettling feeling that the heart wasn't just guiding them. It was leading them exactly where it wanted them to go. The shuttle roared to life. Engines trembled under the strain as the alien woman guided it away from the mining station. The human sat beside her, scanning the radar. 3 enemy blips appeared instantly. They had launched pursuit ships. "They're faster," he said grimly. "They won't matter," she replied, her golden eyes fixed ahead. "The heart has already chosen our path." Kay's hit the heart of Vera, hummed deeply between her legs. Its glow bled faintly through the fabric of her cloak. The human could feel the vibration in the shuttle's frame. It was like the device was part of the ship now, feeding it instructions only she could hear on the radar. The route ahead lit up with a glowing blue line, the same path he'd seen in the holographic map. It curved sharply into a dense asteroid field. "You're insane," he said. "We'll be crushed in there." She smirked slightly. "That's why no one else dares to follow. And that's why we'll lose them." They plunged into the field. Rocks the size of houses tumbled past the shuttle's nose. The alien woman's hands moved with perfect precision, dodging between spinning fragments of stone and ice behind them. The pursuing ships tried to follow, but one miscalculated and shattered against a massive asteroid. The heart pulsed again. Blue light flickered across the controls, guiding her movements. "It's navigating for us," she said quietly. The human swallowed. "Or it's leading us exactly where it wants." Hours seemed to pass in minutes as they weaved deeper into the field. Finally, the asteroids thinned, revealing the vast black of open space, and in the distance, a faint, glowing sphere. It wasn't like any planet he had seen before. Its surface was covered in shifting light, almost like the patterns of a living thing. "That's it," she said, her voice quieter now. The cradle of Vera. As they approached, the glow from the heart intensified until it filled the small cockpit with shimmering blue. The human shielded his eyes. "What's happening?" "It's calling to the others," she said, her voice tight. Her words made his stomach turn. "Others? You mean there are more hearts here?" The surface of the cradle shifted. Dark shapes began to rise from the glowing terrain, enormous machines, their limbs unfolding like the awakening of giants. Some were shaped like beasts, others like towering soldiers. Their eyes burned with cold light. "They're waking up," he said. "Yes," she replied, "and only we can control them or stop them." Before he could respond, alarms screamed in the shuttle. The remaining enemy ships had caught up. One fired a warning shot across their path. The alien woman glanced at him. "They'll land and take the heart from us. Once they do, they'll have an army of war machines." The human looked out at the awakening giants. "We can't let them have it." Her jaw tightened. "Then you understand what we have to do." The heart's hum grew louder, sharper. "He realized it was waiting for a command from either of them. "What happens if we order it to destroy itself?" he asked, her eyes locked on his. "It will die, but it will take the cradle with it. Everything here will burn, and we might not survive." The enemy ships fired again, this time hitting the shuttle's wing. The craft shuddered violently. "We're out of time," she said, her voice fierce. "You have to decide. Keep it and try to control the machines, or destroy it and end the threat forever." The human stared at her. "If I destroy it, all of this ends." "But so might we," she reminded him. Her gaze didn't waver. "You're the one it chose. The choice is yours." He looked at the heart glowing fiercely between the plates of her armor. He thought of the visions it had shown him, the burning cities, the armies marching under alien skies. He thought of what it could do in the wrong hands. Then he made his choice. "Open the armor," he said. Her eyes widened for a moment. Then she nodded, unclipping the locks and pulling the plate aside. The heart shone like a star. Its hum now, a low roar. He placed his hands on it once more. The heat burning through his skin. "It's me," he whispered. "I'm ending this." The heart's glow flared, flooding the cockpit with blinding blue. For a moment, he felt its resistance, as if it didn't want to die. Then, slowly, it yielded. The hum turned into a deep, final pulse. Outside, the war machines froze in place, their lights flickering out. The enemy ships, caught in the same wave of energy, went dark, drifting, powerless. The surface of the cradle erupted in streams of light that spiraled upward before fading into nothing. The shuttle shook violently as the heart dissolved into a fine mist, disappearing between his fingers. Silence fell. The alien woman looked at him, her expression unreadable. "You just destroyed something my people have fought over for centuries," she said quietly. He exhaled, leaning back in his seat. "Good. Now no one can use it." She studied him for a long moment. Then a faint smile touched her lips. "Maybe the heart was right to choose you." They turned the shuttle away from the dead world behind them. The cradle of Vera faded into the darkness of space. The human glanced at her. "So, what now?" Her golden eyes met his. "Now," she said, "we see where the stars take us without anything between your legs, making me nervous." The faintest laugh escaped him, for the first time in days. The silence of space felt almost peaceful.